Hello and welcome back to Sarah's Kiss. Last time we were chatting with all the people in the house and we'd worked out some things and we've started to interrogate the suspects. We've still got more people to interrogate yet. I think we've already interrogated this lady, haven't we? This is the lady, Victoria, one that tried to seduce me and it didn't work very well for her. Who else? I think that we have to go downstairs yet. We haven't finished with the people downstairs. Les Mush. Yep. Come on. There we go. Tobias. We haven't interviewed you yet. I find him scraping mud off his boots with a stick. He looks up when he hears me coming. All right, yeah. He stretches up, tucking the stick into his coat pocket like his pen. Suppose it's my turn, yeah? Follow me to the interrogation room, Tobias. Aye, right behind you, boss. Alright, come with me. We're going fast. We're zooming. You won't know what hit you. Everyone else has not had to be interrogated in the interrogation room. But, we'll be interrogating you in the interrogation room. Because you're suspicious. He looks at the room, then at me. Bit cozy like. He sits. His shoulders are too wide for the chair and he seems to know it. He keeps his elbows tucked in, trying to take up less space. How long have you been at the mansion? Month, a little over. Doing what? Grounds, gates, garden, fence. He shifts. The chair creaks under him. Good position this. Good house. You married? No, boss. Just myself to look after. Were you in the ballroom last night? Yeah, everyone was, weren't they? How were the guests? Bit jumpy, that doctor lost his grip on the plate, red sauce all over the carpet. I were on my knees for an hour. He rubs his fingers. Still not sure I got it all out. Proper mess it was. Kept swearing, but it was already soaked. He waves his hand. Listen to me, I'm running on about a carpet when there's all this. Sorry. It's alright, Tobias. Tell me about the blackout. Bloody nightmare that. Everything went pitch black. I was trying to find a candle, but before I even got a match struck, the power came back on. Did you hear anything in the dark? Nothing clear. When the night stepped back, someone let out a terrible scream, and there she was, Mrs. Ravencroft, dead on the floor. Anyone else felt off about the house lately? No, He stopped, scratching the back of his neck. Well, night before last, I was passing the office, Mrs. Ravencroft's place. I heard something coming from inside. What kind of something? Yelling, a man and a woman. The man was the loud one, which, you don't expect, do you? Usually it's, Anyway, he kept saying something like, tell me where she is, over and over, getting louder each time. Did you see them? No, I didn't want to get caught lurking. I made a bit of noise with my boots and it just stopped, like they heard me coming. He was quiet for a moment, scratching at a crack in the desk. Desperate he sounded, not just angry. Desperate? Miss Prescott mentioned she saw you with Miss Ravencroft before the lights went out. Aye, Mr. Percival called me over, said the servants weren't needed no more. His instruction, not yours. Yeah, I just walked him over. He scratches his jaw. Thought not of it at the time. Odd timing, don't you think? Dinner was still going. I said as much, didn't I? He just said it was handled, so I left it. I write it down. That's everything? Far as I know, yeah. He lowers his head. She was nice to me, Mrs. Ravencroft. When I first started, showed me where everything was herself. Didn't have to do that. He looks up. You'll find who did it? I didn't answer. Right, said just quietly. Right? He stands, ducks silently under the doorframe out of habit and leaves. The room feels even smaller after he's gone. So he must be a rather large man. It's hard to tell with the isometric view, I guess. Tall. Lanky, maybe? Quite muscular, I'd imagine, doing his job. Who else is here? Patricia is in there, and Samuel's down in the thingamajig. Tobias, we just talked to him, so we do not need to talk to him again. Come on. I'm very interested to talk to Samuel, but Patricia first. She was right here. Patricia is at the sink. A pot held at not anymore, she isn't. I pushed her out of the way. A pot held under the running tap. The water has long since reached the brim. Mrs. Potts. She startles. Inspector! Oh, I didn't hear the door. Is this a good time? Of course. She turns off the tap and moves to the stove. I'm making something for Miss Sinclair. She's feeling rather weak. I stood at the far end of the counter. I'm glad you came. Perhaps now we can talk about my duty, too. Get somewhere. A missing person from 6 months ago is a separate matter, Mrs. Potts, so more important things to deal with. She opens a drawer. That's what your colleague said as well, at the station. She takes out a wooden spoon and slams the drawer shut with her hip. For all I know, she could be dead in a ditch somewhere, my girl. 20 years old, and everyone is very busy. When this case is closed, I'll look into your daughter myself. You have my word. She turns to look at me. That's kind of you, Inspector. I'll hold you to it. She lights the stove. Go ahead, then. I'm listening. You were at the dinner, yes? I was. Arabella always let me close for these things. Nobody else knows this table like I do. Well, who won't touch onion whose throat closes at a single nut? 30 years a place. You learn them better than they know themselves. When the lights went out, where were you? In the ballroom. I just collected the leftovers from the kitchen. The spoon drags against the bottom of the pot. I tried to find Tobias to take the food to the servant's house. He wasn't there. Are you certain? Tobias told me he was present at the ballroom. He wasn't there. I'll stake my Sunday on it. I noted down. I understand you were the one who screamed. She stopped stirring. Yes, when the lights came up, the others were still talking, drinking. I saw her right there on the floor. Not a breath of movement. What happened after that? The doctor was there in a heartbeat. He checked her pulse for all of 5 seconds before he looked up, white as a sheet, and just shook his head. She grips the handle of the paw. That's when Percival lost whatever sense he had. He threw a punch that caught Mr. Blackwood right across the face. Split his eyebrow clean open. Yes, I'm aware of that incident. What was Arabella's relationship with Mr. Blackwood? He funded her charity, sat at her table often enough. Was there any trouble over the funding? She waves her hand. Forget Mr. Blackwood, Inspector. He's not your man. She says, spoon down. If I were you, I'd be looking rather more carefully at the men of the Ravencrofts, father and son. She wipes her hands on the apron. There's a saying, the hand that kills you, you've kissed it first. I suppose that's true. It's most likely to be someone in your family that kills you. What are you trying to say, Mrs. Potts? Look at who stands to benefit, Inspector. With Arabella gone, Percival inherits everything, and there'll be no one left to keep him honest. Does Mr. Ravencroft have that kind of past? She turns back to the pot. He was never one for discretion, Inspector. Back in '80, Percival had an affair with one of the housemaids. When Arabella found out, she put the girl on the streets and burned everything she owned. Dreadful business. It took a month of shame before Percival left his room. She opens a drawer and takes out a chopping board. I suspect he kept a few of her belongings hidden away in some corner of the house. I understand, but an affair from 25 years ago doesn't make a man a murderer. No, but a man who strays once stays again, Inspector, and my sister knew it. I turned to a clean page. You mentioned the son earlier. Sebastian. Anything to be concerned about? She rises on her toes to reach the top shelf, taking down a bunch of celery. She holds it briefly under her nose. That spoiled boy had turned his room into some sort of a laboratory. Powders and chemicals everywhere, like a cut-rate apothecary. She takes a knife from the drawer. Cordelia went in to clean once. He screamed at her until she left. She lays the celery on the board and begins to chop. Smells like something died in there. None of the girls would go near it now. I cross my arms. And his habits? Is he someone who keeps to himself? Entirely. You'd go whole days without seeing him. She rests the knife on the boards. Though 2 nights ago I did see him. It was late, gone midnight. He was walking past the corridor towards his bedroom. She resumes chopping. He didn't see me, but I saw his face. Something had shaken the boy. Shaken how? Angry or frightened, she considers. Sometimes the two look very much the same. Note it down. About your sister, were you close? The knife slows. She looks at me for a moment. There was love, once. What changed? She goes back to cutting. When we were young, we were always together, only lost each other at hide and seek. A small smile, there and gone. But when our father died, Arabella took on the estate and I got my role in the kitchen. And so we drifted. Did that bother you? A piece of celery clings to the steel. She flicks it into the bin with a snap of her finger. Not at all. She runs her thumb along the flat of the blade, dropping the celery into the pot, then stares looking into it. You know what ruins a stock, Inspector? Boiling it. People think heat means faster. It doesn't. You boil it, it goes cloudy, and all that bitterness comes up. Arabella never had the patience for it. She wipes the board down. I only hope you find who did this. She turns slowly and looks at me. Do you think you'll manage? I intend to, Mrs. Potts. I stand and pick up my notebook. Is there anything else I should know? She turns a valve on the stove. The flame dies. Nothing else, Inspector. I've told you everything I know. I believe neither of those sentences. Move toward the door before I hear her speak. Don't forget your promise. I will try not to. I'll try not to indeed. Let's go downstairs, shall we? See if anyone's down here in the basement. Just a dead body. Nothing so exciting down here. So we've still got, what's his name? Samuel to talk to. Ooh. I clicked out of the window for an accident. I should look back through the evidence. I will in a minute. Talk to Samuel first. Samuel is standing by the window, watching the snow come down. He holds a crystal glass spied down by his thigh. Inspector. Mr. Blackwood, how are you holding up? I'm standing. That will have to do. He turns slowly, the light catching him, the purple-black swelling around his eye. Walk me through last night, before the blackout. I was at the bar. Gordon was doing a portrait of Arabella. You were watching. She didn't move an inch. He almost smiles. Remarkable discipline. You admired her. She was an admirable woman. Were you sleeping with her? Almost heard the glass crack. I beg your pardon. It's a simple question, Mr. Blackwood. He exhales sharp. Peasant gossip, Inspector, from peasant mouths. Arabella Ravencroft was a woman I respected, a woman I was proud to support. And my friend, that is all she was. He holds my stare, refusing to be the first to blink. And that is all I will say on the matter. Understood. I pull my notebook out. Were you alone at the bar? I was speaking with Sebastian at the time. About what? Business. I like to keep an eye on the young talent. I told him there will be a place for him in my firm once his studies are finished. How did he take it? He turned me down, said he had other plans. He intends to move to France the moment he is able. Did he say why? He didn't mention, though I suspect he simply wanted to get away from his father, rather than actually build a career of his own. I nod. He tugs at his cuffs. Were you at the mansion 2 nights ago? No, I arrived yesterday with the others. Someone was arguing with Arabella in her office the night before last. I was in London. I check his jacket. No button is missing, nothing torn. What happened when the lights went out? I was alone at the bar when it happened. Then I heard something heavy, like something falling. You think it was her? I cannot say for certain. It could have been someone tripping over the furniture. And when the lights came back? Patricia screamed. That's when I saw Arabella on the floor. I ran to her, shook her, called her name. Then Dr. Graves came, turned her over, and took her wrist. Said she was gone. At that moment, did you notice anyone missing? I couldn't tell you. From the moment I saw her on the floor, the rest of the room might as well have been empty. He drains the glass in one go. I watch his throat work. He turns to the window and presses his forehead against the cold glass. A small circle of mist forms from his breath, then slowly vanishes. She loved the first snow. Stood by the window like a child every year, waiting for it to settle. He hears himself, straightens. Forgive me, I'm not quite myself. I close my notebook. Find who did this, Inspector. How do I know that it wasn't you who did it? Okay. 2 nights ago, just past midnight, Patricia saw Sebastian heading to his bedroom. Oh, Tobias overheard a man shouting inside Arabella's office. The man sounded desperate and repeatedly demanded to know where someone was. That could be the same thing, because that was just 2 nights ago. Yes. Oh. Okay. An admission service, Selena River. Blah, 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 blah. There was some information regarding, like it belongs to a specific. Patricia claims that before the bathroom, she went to find in the ballroom, but he was missing. But that's very different to what other people have told us, including Percival himself. So we can talk to Sebastian, Samuel, and Percival. Let's talk to Samuel, because he's right here. Alrighty, let's accuse him of handing... You bought a drink to Mrs. Ravencroft before the blackout. He takes a slow breath. I wondered when that would come up. I wait. Yes, I did. You failed to mention it earlier. Because I knew exactly how it'd look. A drink, a blackout, and then a dead body. He picks a white cue ball from the edge of the table. I was terrified, Inspector, but I swear to you I would never hurt Arabella. Someone did. I am certain it was the doctor. Dr. Graves? He's been Percival's closest friend for years. Precisely. He's a loyal dog on a very short leash. That's a heavy accusation. Is it? Just a month ago, a patient died on Horatio's operating table. A routine procedure with a catastrophic end. It should have been the end of him. He turns the cue ball slowly in his palm. Percival took the case himself. The trial's still ongoing. And you believe that's relevant? I believe Horatio's future is sitting in Percival's hands. One bad ruling and he's finished. His practice, his reputation, everything. So you think Percival will use that against him? Murder is a considerable favour. None of the alternative is watching your whole entire life collapse. He lets the ball roll off his hand and thuds softly onto the felt. Horatio has been following Percival around this house like a servant since I arrived, laughing when he laughs and agreeing before he's even finished speaking. Friendship can look like obedience. No. Fear looks like obedience. He takes a step closer, lowering his voice. Last night, when she was on the floor, when I was on my knees begging him to do something, he was just standing there. He told me he examined her. He looked at her. That's what he did. Looked. He's a doctor, Mr. Blackwood. Surely he knew there was nothing to be done. Because he already knew what had been done. And you believe Percival ordered this? To what end? Arabella was curious. She was good at finding things that were meant to stay hidden. And believe me, Inspector, her husband has plenty to hide. How is it that you know so much about Mr. Ravencroft's private affairs? He wipes a smear of blue chalk from the edge of the table. I wanted to make sure my donations were actually going to charity, not just cleaning up her husband's messes. So I looked into him. Most donors just want their name on a plaque. You seem like you wanted to find a reason to take him down. A small twitch on his eyebrow. He touches it without meaning to. We're done here, Inspector. Are we? Are you just dismissing me because you don't like what truths I've brought to life? We've got more information yet. We got Horatio's malpractice, which we may be able to put in with this, right? We also know that Horatio was that story is true. We saw the newspaper in Percival's room, his office, not his room. So he's not lying to us. Let's go talk to Sebastian on the way he's here. He's doing some chemistry right now. Sebastian, I've come to speak to you. Come now, Inspector. Surely you have more promising leads than me. Let me talk to you about this. Sebastian is on his knees, his sleeves pushed up. He holds a heavy hammer, bringing it down on the strong box. The box is old but well made. A green enamel crest is pressed into the lid, a symbol I don't recognize. The hammer has left shallow dents along the hinge, but nothing more. Lost your key. He doesn't stop. Another blow. The hinge holds. Put it down, Sebastian. We need to talk. He brings the hammer down one more time, then lets it fall. What now, Inspector? You argued with your mother the night before she died. He stands slowly, crosses to the desk and leans against it. Who told you that? I don't answer. It was Patricia, wasn't it? Was she lying? He rolls his sleeves down. No. I wait. We argued with Mother. I won't pretend we didn't. But now she's dead and I can't take it back. Is that what you came to hear? I came to hear what the argument was about. Patricia will have told you her version, whatever it was. She gave me a statement. Now I like yours, and keep Patricia out of it. He scoffs. Keep her out of it? A short breath. She's not what you think she is, Inspector. She lost her daughter. Keep that in mind. Her little bunny, as she called her. His eyes go to the strongbox on the floor. His voice softens. I haven't heard that in a long time. Strange nickname for a girl her age. Keep staring at the box. 2 big front teeth. She had them since she was little. The whole family called her that. She didn't mind. Do you know where she is? His head snaps back to me. Ask my mother. Oh, right, you can't. Is that what the argument was about? Duty. He doesn't answer. He pushes off the desk and goes to the shelf, sweeps his hand across it and clears his space. A few envelopes flutter to the floor. He doesn't bother with them. 3 months, he mutters. Sorry? 3 months until I have my degree. That was my mother's plan for me. I finish, then she tells me. Tells you what? He picks up a small glass vial. Doesn't matter. Whatever it was, she took it with her. He looks back at the strongbox on the floor. Leave, Inspector. I move toward the door. Threshold has stopped and looked back. He has picked the hammer back up. Okay, so he's back into smashing his own test. So we need to get him out of there to be able to chat with him. Percival, welcome to the bed. Percival is walking slowly at the nod of his sealed crowd. The invitation list for large-sized dinner. I found it in Tobias's waistbin. I unfold the crumpled paper and hold it between us. My name is at the bottom. Someone scratched it out. I remember the paper. Tobias says it was you. I think we have read this, right? Right. Who is Selena? That is none of your concern. I open my notebook, pull the photograph from the pages, and hold it off. Mrs. Potts called her a maid. Were you involved with her? Why are you digging through old gossip? I don't like leaving loose ends, no matter how old they are. You are here to investigate my wife's murder, Inspector. He turns his back towards me. Arabella deserves your attention, not this maid. Well, can I accuse you? It isn't the sound I have come to despise. Alright. Percival is slumped on the mattress, his waistcoat unbuttoned, one shoe off, the other hanging loose. Beside him, loose photographs onto the sheets. On the nightstand, a half-empty decanter sits next to a glass with a sticky brown ring. He doesn't look up when the door opens, only tilts the silver frame towards the lamp to clear the glare. You've taken to walking in unannounced, Inspector. He smells the whiskey under his breath from across the room. He runs his thumb slowly through the photograph. A dull smudge begins to blur the face in the frame. Watch the smudge grow. My hand goes to my pocket, twisting the golden ring on my finger. I turn it until the edges bite into my skin. I close the door behind me and take a few steps in. You dismissed the household staff last night during dinner. I did. Is that a crime? It's a choice. I'm interested in why you made it. It was a long evening. The servants had worked hard, so I sent them to their house. Why was Tobias there? He reaches for the decanter. Instead of a neat pour, the glass clinks loudly against the neck of the bottle. You sent everyone away, except him. Merely a favor to Miss Prescott. She asked me to keep him at the table. You didn't ask why? No, I didn't ask. I simply accepted. He stands with his glass in his hand and paces to the foot of the bed. My wife is laying in a slab on the basement, and you are in my bedroom asking about the staff roster. He kicks a stay photo album out of his path, sending it sliding across the floorboards. You know, I used to find you inspectors rather impressive. Men who walked into a room and... He trails off, losing his footing for a second. Grabs the bedpost to steady himself, spilling half his drink on the carpet. Mr. Ravencroft, are you alright? Get out. Yeah. I will. But be warned. Vivian wanted Tobias at dinner. Percival sent the household staff away but kept Tobias at the table. He did it because Vivian asked him to, and he never questioned why. Well, let's have a chat with Vivian then. Maybe she's got a thing for Tobias. Perhaps. Up. Thank you. Or perhaps she's got something that she's hiding. Now, Vivian, I don't think that you did it because you're currently dying of lung cancer. But, if you did, it's a perfect time to do it. Yes, but I wanted to talk to you about this. The window is cracked open. As the door clicks, Vivian quickly slides a silver ashtray behind her open book, a thin trail of smoke rising from it. Well, she's smoking, even though she can't. Inspector, you came back. You seem better. I have good hours and bad ones. I'm just using the one I've got. I stay by the door. I have one more question. You asked for Tobias to remain at the dinner. Yes, I wasn't feeling well. It seemed sensible to have someone nearby. There was Dr. Graves at the table. I wasn't checking everyone's profession at the time. I was looking for a steady pair of hands. She gestures towards the window, her fingers trembling. The draft is quite biting. Would you mind closing it? I don't move. Why Tobias? No reason particular. You know him? No. He turns a page on the book, leaving a grey smudge of ash on the paper. I wasn't about to ask one of the guests. It didn't feel appropriate. I asked a member of the staff because he was there, because it was invisible. Isn't that what staff are for? Mrs. Potts mentioned that Tobias went missing from the ballroom. Did you notice? Yes, I asked him to fetch my medication from upstairs, for my condition. How long was he missing? He hadn't returned by the time the lights went out. I assumed the dark had slowed him down. Did he come back? A faint shiver on her shoulders. Eventually. I walk over to the window. The sash is heavy and stuck in the frame, but I force it down until the lock clicks. I turn around, her hand rests on her collarbone. Is Tobias in trouble? He's no longer as unnoticed as you'd prefer. A small wisp of smoke still drifts from behind the book. Rest well, Miss Prescott, and stop smoking. Well, I suppose it actually doesn't matter. You're already dying of lung cancer. There's not too much I can do about it. Let's have a look. Tobias wasn't in the ballroom. Let's have a chat with Tobias about this, shall we? Everyone is being sus. And that means that we need to vote the imposter out. Where's the emergency button? I actually never played Among Us. I'm probably too of age to start playing it now, What's the age range? I can't really do those high intensity games. What with being old? Let me accuse you. I found him crouched at the fireplace, feeding a log into the grate. Oh! He glances up. Hey there, boss! He sits back on his heels, watches the fire tank. You told me you were at the dinner for the full evening. Mm-hmm. Mrs. Potts says she couldn't find you. He scratches the back of his head. All right, I did a late check on the south gate. A fox got in last week, dug up half the tulips, so now I do a late round before bed as well. Cheeky thing. How long were you gone? 30, maybe 40 minutes. 40 minutes is a long time to look for a fox, Tobias. He reaches for the poker, nudges the log steeper. I stay there, silent, until he lets out a long, regular sigh. I was having a smoke, all right. If the boss catches a whiff of tobacco on me, it'll help my head on a pike. Says I'm coming for the stuff to smell like a tavern. Went outside so the wind would take the scent away. That's the truth. He wipes a hand across his brow, leaving a streak of dirt. Miserable, ain't it? A man my age hiding in the bushes for a puff like a schoolboy. Why didn't you mention this before? Didn't think like leaving to have a smoke was the sort of thing worth mentioning. Still not sure it is, to be honest with you. Miss Prescott said she sent you upstairs to bring your medication. His thumb works the shaft of the poker back and forth. Did she? Well, I mean, yes, that too. You're lying. Which was first, the smoke or the pills? The pills? No, the smoke first, then the... He starts pressing his lips together. The smoke, I went outside first, then I went for the pills, right? A wide smile fixes on his face. They keep you busy. Aye, well, everyone calls an old Toby, don't they? A slow shake of his head. That's just the job, like, something needs something. They find me, including the doctor. He sets the poker back against the stone. Dr. Graves, what about him? I heard he visited your room about 2 weeks ago. Were you sick? Aye, bit of a chest cold. He bought me a tonic. I was back on my feet in a day or two. As I tend to leave, his voice stops me. Oh, boss, while you're about, there's a mess in the hearth on the second floor. Glass all broke up in the grate. Been meaning to clear it. Don't know who'd go smashing a bottle in a fireplace, but there it is. Glass, you say? Yeah, thought you might want to give it a look. I nod. Right, carry on, Tobias. Okay, well, let's go have a look at this glass, this Pepsi bottle. A sharp, high-pitched scream rings out from the floor above. I need to get up there now. Well, that's where I was going, so don't you worry. I was going there to check out the fireplace. Where is the scream coming from? Oh, it's actually on the upper floor. Let's go there first, I guess. I'm guessing that is first floor, second floor, and then upper. But in England, they'd use ground floor, surely, right? Maybe this has been Americanized. Gross. You're not screaming, are you? Who else? Oh, are you screaming? Who's screaming? That's it. I don't necessarily know. A high-pitched scream would be you. Did you scream, Vivian? Did you scream, Horatio? No, neither of you screamed. Scrimmed a la scrim. Who else? Who else could scream like that? Is there anyone down here that's looking sus? Oh, Victoria and Samuel are together in Victoria's room. That is not good. I don't trust Samuel. He was downstairs earlier. Oh, Victoria. Oh, no. Patricia is on her knees, her hands clasped over her mouth, staring into Victoria's room. A silver tray lies on the floor, yellow soup soaking into the carpet from a flipped bowl. Help! Someone help! I move past her and step into the room. Victoria is on the floor. She isn't moving. Samuel stands over her, frozen. I drop down and press my fingers against her neck. Nothing. Then a pulse, thin but is there. She's alive. I look up at Samuel. What happened here, Mr. Blackwood? I don't know. One moment we were talking, and then she just... she went down. You weren't talking. You were shouting. I heard you from the stairs. He takes a step back. It wasn't like that. I mean, yes, we were arguing, but I didn't touch her. I'm telling you the truth, Inspector. Heavy footsteps hit the floorboards in the hall. Percival enters the room. He looks at Victoria, then his eyes lock onto Samuel. You did this. He doesn't wait for an answer. He just goes for his throat. You killed them both! I stand and catch him by the shoulder, shoving him back towards the door. Mr. Ravencroft, Victoria is still breathing, and she needs help. He keeps staring at Samuel. Go get the doctor, now. His fist is still balled up. He exhales sharp and then turns away muttering as he exits the room. I never should have left that bastard into my house. I look back at Victoria. Her lips are a bruised shade of blue. Glance over to the nightstand. A half-finished glass of wine stands on it. Suddenly, everything seems familiar. I turn to Samuel, but before I speak, Horatio enters the room. He pushes past me, carrying his medical bag. He kneels down, pulling her over his back. Her pupils are dilated. She's slipping into deep shock. He props her feet up on a stool and loosens the collar of her dress. He looks up at me. She needs air. I need everyone out, and I'll stay with her. I nod and step back into the hallway. Patricia is on the floor, picking up the pieces of a broken plate. Samuel leans against the wall. His knees give out, and he slides down until he's sitting on the floor. I start to walk towards him, but Percival's voice booms from the end of the hall. Mr. Hartwell, in my office, now. I don't really want to go into your office, mate. I've got other shit to do. I'm a detective, not your lackey. You can't just order me around like that. Now, where would this fireplace be? Right here. The glass shards are transparent, invisible against the ash. leaving me to find them by touch alone. Edges I can't see cut my fingers as I lift the pieces out, one by one. Dark drops of blood hit the stone as I clear the suit and assemble the fragments on the door, on the floor even. They form the curve of a small glass bottle. A few capital letters embossed directly into the glass, jagged against my thumb. Talus. Talus. Mortalis? Medals? It means nothing to me. I gather the fragments to a handkerchief and leave. Find out what Talus is. Do you know who might know? You. Though right now you're not confiding in me, are you? Let's go downstairs to Percival's office. Talus. I don't think I've seen that name before. Yellow. Percival. I am not going to arrest him if that's what you're asking me, Percival. Percival. Percival? Percival. Percival. The door is barely open before he's already talking. Mr. Hartwell, this situation has become intolerable. He presses one hand to his forehead. My wife is dead. Now another woman nearby dies, and I've seen no progress since you arrived. I stay silent. Well, have you found anything useful? Blackwood is one possibility. He goes still, a small tilt of his head. I warned you about him from the very beginning. The man owns a pharmaceutical company. He'd have access to any poison you care to name. I am aware. Then arrest him. He isn't the only one with that kind of access. What are you talking about? Mrs. Potts mentioned chemicals in Sebastian's room. I've seen them too. That places your son in the same position as Blackwood. He waves a hand. My son is a university student, Inspector. Half his luggage is laboratory equipment. That's hardly suspicious. Perhaps. I still need to rule it out. A knock at the door. Come in! Tobias appears in the doorway, one hand on the frame. Need the keys, sir? Percival pulls open the desk drawer. A ring of keys clinks against the wood as he takes one out and walks into the corridor without a word. I can hear their voices outside, but I can't make out the words. The drawer is still open. I step towards the desk. Inside a key, long-handled with a green enamel crest and a small emerald at the center. The door handle turns. I pocket the key and step back. The door opens. And don't forget the twine, understand? So, Inspector, you were saying? I need some more time. More time for what? Another woman to end up on the floor? He pushes the door shut and sits heavily on his chair. The man had the means, and he was caught in the act. What more do you need? Proof. I can't arrest a man just because you dislike him. He picks up a pen, twirling it in his fingers. Perhaps the difficulty isn't the evidence at all. Perhaps it's you, Inspector. I lean forward on the edge of his desk. Blackwood had the means, but the strongest motive in this house still belongs to you. He scoffs, opening up the book in front of him. You have lost your mind. I don't answer. The door is behind you. I turn. I'm nearly through it when he speaks again. See that this is resolved quickly. We have a funeral to arrange. Well, I'll try my best, Monfred, but... You know, investigations take time. We need to make sure that every single person... We don't want to just arrest someone on shaky evidence, do we? Now, we need Sebastian to get out of the room. How are you going to... Oh, he's out of the room now. Ooh. Yoink. Sebastian's room is empty. I cross the chest and crouch in front of it. Green emblem on the lock matches the key in my pocket. I take it out and look at both of them for a moment. I push it in. Click. Lift the lid. The smell coming out of it is thick. I can almost take it. One side is filled with small glass vials, lined up in rows. The labels are faded but legible. Iodine, zinc, arsenic. Some of them are empty. In the corner, a camera. Beside it, 2 rolls of film and a notebook filled with symbols and dosages. What are you doing? I push myself up too fast. The lid catches the back of my head, bringing me back down. Inspecting. You've got hell of a nerve. He marches over, trying to loom over me, but he doesn't have the height for it. Where did you get the key? Where did you get the arsenic? It's for the marsh test. Marsh what? He looks at me like I'm a child who can't read. And they made you, Inspector. I stand on my feet, rubbing the back of my head. I don't care about your tests. There's enough poison in this box to kill everyone in this house twice over. He pushes the vials aside and pulls a thin book from the back of the chest. He opens it, then slides a photograph from between the pages. A sharp chemical smell rises from the chest that makes my eyes sting. Why do you keep all of these in your room? He turns away from me. Did it occur to you that anyone could have used these to kill your mother? He looks up from the photograph. In case you didn't notice, the chest was locked. With a key you don't have. He carries the photograph to the desk. I can't see who's in it. I take a step back, looking around. Dust lies thick over the furniture, and the grey sheets in the bed are piled across the mattress. You sleep in here, next to all this. Those fumes, you're breathing them every night. They'll rot your lungs before you're 30. Don't worry, if I die, we'll call a different inspector. Now get out. He sinks into the chair. One hand holds the photograph. The nails of his other hand dig into his left wrist, tearing at the broken skin. It was never a rash. I walk to the door, the pills shifting in my pocket as I move. Find a room with a window, lad. Check on Victoria, eh? We still need to find out what Carlos is. Maybe the doctor knows. We're going to see the doctor now, so it's possible that we just find out at this very moment. The other person that may know is Blackwood. The curtains are drawn, but the light still breathes through. Victoria lies in the bed, her skin the colour of bone. Horatio is leaning over her with a wet cloth gripped in his hand. A porcelain bowl of water sits in the nightstand. Dr. Graves, step outside for a moment. He looks at Victoria and then back at me. Perhaps it would be better if I need you, I'll call. He nods slowly, gathers his bag, and slips out. I pull a chair close to the bed. Her eyes flutter open and focus. Miss Sinclair, are you able to answer some questions? She tries to push herself up, fails halfway. I think so. Tell me what you remember. I was with Mr. Blackwood. We were talking. Or rather, we were shouting. I remember now. I was accusing him of what happened to Arabella. Did he attack you? He grabbed my shoulders. He shook me. His voice was so loud. And then everything just went dark. Did you drink anything while he was here? Water, tea, spirits? I point to the drink on the nightstand. That glass, is it yours? She blinks at it. I think Mr. Blackwood brought it. She looks at me, her pupils fully dilated. Inspector, why would he want to kill me? I stay silent, staring at the faint blue tint on her lips. She reaches into the covers and pulls out a small handbag. She takes out a photograph and holds it towards me. I take it. Samuel and Arabella in a private moment, unposed and intimate. Flip it over. I do. One line centered on the paper. Silent costs. You will soon find out how much. Victoria's handbag clicks shut. Where did you get this, Miss Sinclair? Arabella gave it to me. She found it on her desk yesterday, just after the dinner. Do you know who sent it? Her hand presses flat to her sternum. No idea. Neither did she. She asked me to burn it, but... Why didn't you show me this during your first interrogation? She dips the wet cloth into the bowl. A few drops splash into the floor. I promised her. Wanted to protect her name. If this got out, I could have ruined her. She twists the cloth, her hands doing something. Oh, there we go. Shaking from the effort. But I can't protect her anymore. My own life is at stake now. I thought you all should know. Why, thank you. I fold the photograph and slide it into my breast pocket. So, why did you burn it? I never found the chance. That night when she was sitting for her portrait, I looked at her from across the room. I knew I had to do it. I stood up to find an empty room, but before I reached the exit, the lights went out. Did you show the photograph to Samuel? She shakes her head slowly. No, Inspector, I didn't. I stand from the chair. Well then, I'll need to speak with him. Thank you, Miss Sinclair. You can rest now. I pick up the glass from the nightstand and walk toward the window. Push it open, emptying the glass outside. Then I sit it on the far side of the desk. Okay, so the poison's out of it now. We can't drink it to see if it's arsenic. Does it taste like... Was arsenic the one that tastes like nuts? I can't remember what nut. Where's Horatio? Just left. He's decided, oh, he told me to step outside. I'm going all the way nowhere. You know? Samuel, Horatio, neither of them are here. I guess they're all on 4-3. Just Vivian's there. Ah, and Horatio. Where's Samuel when you need him? Nowhere, apparently. Tobias, Percival, Patricia, Victoria, Sebastian, Gordon, Vivian, Horatio. Well, let's talk to Horatio while we're here. We will do this, and this will automatically teleport us to upstairs because of science. I've pronounced many deaths, Inspector. None of them prepared me for this one. Okay, so he's got nothing really to tell us at the moment. We got no deductions to make at the moment. Gordon's also not here. If you were Samuel, where would you be? And nothing downstairs, right? That we haven't looked at before. There's still no Samuel. So we must be missing something. Where we saw Samuel before. Oh, he's downstairs. There we go. Didn't show up on the map, that's why. Samuel sits on the floor with his legs bound. Rough twine binds his wrist tight in his lap. Cloth leg hangs half out from his mouth. He squints against the light, sweat shining across his face. Crouch beside him and draw my pocket knife. The twine snaps easily. Pull the leg free and catch his shoulders to steady him. Thank God, I thought no one was coming. His voice cracks, his hands won't stop shaking. Who did this to you, Mr. Blackwood? Tobias said that Percival wanted to see me in the basement. He swallows hard. He brought me down here. Before I realized what happened, he jumped on me and threw me on the floor. Tobias turned you up? He did, though I'm sure he was just taking orders. I look at the red raw skin around his wrists. Should have seen this coming. Can you stand? I'll manage. I help him up, keeping a hand on his elbow until he finds his balance. He's unsteady. I guide him to the pillow and let him lean against it. Thank you, Inspector. Mr. Blackwood, yesterday I asked about your relationship with Mrs. Ravencroft. You said it was purely professional. Yes, what else would it have been? I reach into my coat and place the photograph between us. He goes still, then picks it up, his tongue crossing her face before he whispers, Arabella. He gives me back the photograph, a small bitter smile. Forgive me, I wasn't expecting to see that. Arabella and I did have a romantic relationship, but I want to be clear, beyond that one kiss, nothing more happened between us. I turn the photograph over. There's a message on the back. I read it to him. Someone new. Do you have any idea who? He shakes his head. We thought we were entirely alone. Someone was watching us. When was this taken? About 2 weeks ago. The theatre foyer. A rainy Wednesday. I suppose we weren't as hidden as we thought. How did you first meet her? His posture loosens. He's been waiting for someone to ask that. Honestly, I met Miss Sinclair first during a salt show exhibition in London. She made her interest known immediately. Romantically? Crudely is the word I'd use. I decline, particularly once I learn she changes lovers about as often as she changes hats. She's currently with a police officer, in fact, Hugo Barton. If that name means anything to you? It does. He pulls a flask from his jacket. A few days later, she said she wanted to introduce me to a friend, and that's how I met Arabella. Was as the room stopped, Inspector. Arabella was the opposite of Victoria. Quiet, measured. You noticed her without meaning to. He takes a small sip. Miss Sinclair didn't take this rejection well. It seemed to gall her that I preferred Arabella. Was there interest from Mrs. Ravencroft's side? Not at first. She kept her distance. I wrote to her, sent flowers. I donated her a charity fund just to have a reason to visit. He tips the flask upside down, 2 drops on his lips. But recently she began to change. Trust me, I think. He gestures toward the photograph. That was our first kiss. And our last. He slides the flask into his coat. And when she kissed you, you thought you'd finally won? He looks at me, says nothing. Is that why you showed her that document from the infirmary union? The what? The document slipped into my door last night, naming Mr. Ravencroft as the father of an illegitimate child. His fingers closed into a loose fist. Who else other than you would have the means to find something so old? No, Inspector, I didn't. This morning I chose to believe you hadn't poisoned that drink. I'm running out of reasons to keep believing it. I am telling you the truth. You're not. Why did you show her that document? I didn't. Then why did you bring it with you last night? He drags his palm across his forehead, wiping it with a sit. It's not like that. I can see what she meant to you. Someone poisoned her, and every hour you spend lying to me is an hour I waste on you instead of them. I pick out the photograph. I hold it where he has to look at it. You can protect her last night. This is the only chance you'll get to do it now. He puts his hands over his eyes. I did it. I brought it. Why? I thought if she knew Percival had a child outside of the marriage, she might leave him. For me. Did you show it to her? He raises his eyes. They're wet. No, I couldn't do it. But you gave it to me. Why? I don't know. Yes, you do. I was desperate. I wanted him to look guilty. I wanted him gone. I nod. He looks at the floor. So, you lied to my face and tried to frame a man for the murder of the woman you claim to love. He folds against the pillar, his shoulders shaking. I'm sorry. I wasn't thinking. Arabella had just... You think you are the only one who lost her? I don't know why I said that. Mr. Blackwood, with this testimony, you are now the primary suspect in her murder. He slides down, both knees on the floor, his head moves side to side. You are jealous because she wouldn't leave Percival. You poisoned her with that drink last night. Miss Sinclair saw you do it, and you know she saw you. I swear to you, I swear! That's why you tried to kill her too. I saw the drink in her room, the same room I found you in. Her on the floor, lips blue, just like Arabella. His breath leaves a thin curl of dust on the floor. No, please! It's over, Mr. Blackwood. He's on his knees, head still moving. No, no, no. His coat is rucked up at the shoulders. One hand is flat on the floor, the other curled loosely beside it. He isn't fighting. He stopped hiding somewhere in the last minute. I hadn't noticed. The handcuffs are on my belt. I'm aware of their weight. I turned my head to Arabella's body, wondering if she would have believed him. I'm betting my career on a man's head. Get up. He stares at my hand. I wait. He reaches up. His skin is cold and greasy with sweat. I pull him to his feet. He nearly stumbles. I hope I don't come to regret this. He can't look at me. He gives a small, shaky nod and starts walking towards the stairs. I stay by the pillar. My hand is twitching. A heavy ache in my temples matches my heartbeat. I take the pill bottle from my coat and take one out. I swallow it and head for the stairs. But before I do that, I'm going to say that Victoria and Hugo Barden, given by Samuel related to Victoria. Okay, there's nothing really else interesting there. Let's continue to go up. Ask Patricia about Victoria's fainting, eh? Mention something about Victoria's fainting. Patricia? Well, apparently we can't. We can't yet. Let's talk about Tobias, about tying up Mr. Sam. Tobias. Toby Turner. Map. He's now in the ballroom. Tobias, why do you keep on moving whenever I want to see you? I want you to talk to me. He's at the bar with a drink. The light from the windows reaches all the way across the floor. There's a lot of empty space for one man. He glances at me when I walk in, then back to his drink. Boss! I took the stool beside him. I'm your boss now. Heck yeah, promotion. I just came from the basement. He nods slowly. Right? Reached into my coat and set the twine on the bar between us. Mr. Blackwood was tied up with that, since it was you. Turned the glass once in his fingers. The liquid barely moves. Wasn't my call. Did you hurt him? He takes a big swig. Nothing a man can't handle. Look at his posture, the way he's thrashing on top of his glass. He takes a slow breath. Told your boss, or Toby, so they call? He turns to me with almost a smile. What was it? When you said when you arrived something about being here for the mess? He lifts the glass slightly in the air. Suppose that makes the two of us? I pick up the twine. The movement pulls up something along my ribs. My hand goes there without thinking. I look up. He's watching my hand. The war? Softly. 1899? I let my hand drop. The drunk in the tavern, 1895. He sits on the stool, sets the glass down. Got one like it on my left side, mouths a bullet. He presses his shirt slightly. Aches when it rains. I look at the window. The storm is breaking against the glass. Mine aches when I breathe. He picks up his glass again. Leave the twine on the bar and walk out. Now we may be able to talk to Patricia. I still want to talk to Samuel about whether he knows what this TARDIS is. He knows a lot about chemistry, at least. She's on her knees at the fireplace, waking a stiff brush along the iron grate. Her apron is already dark with ash on her knees. Mrs. Potts. She stands and looks at me over her shoulder. Inspector, close the door, will you? I do. She turns back to the grate with my mind powers. I want to ask you about Miss Sinclair's incident. Yes? You took her supper up to her room. She asked me to. Said she wasn't feeling well enough to come down, I thought. Well, it doesn't matter what I thought. Walk me through it, from the moment you went up. I had her tray, was halfway up the stairs when I heard the yelling. Whose? Mr. Blackwood's voice. I couldn't make out words yet. I kept going. What else was I to do? Stand on the stairs with a cooling soup? The brush moves in short, hard strokes. The words came clearer the closer I got. I heard Miss Sinclair's voice. She said, "It is pathetic that he mistook her fundraising for a romance." And then he started shouting over her. I couldn't tell you what. It was all on top of itself. You were at the door by then. Right outside, trimmed my hands, wondering whether I ought to knock or come back later. He pulls out a cloth from the hearth and wipes her hands. And then just stopped, all at once, no voices, no footsteps. So I knocked, and when no one answered, I opened the door. She folds the cloth. Miss Sinclair was on the floor. Mr. Blackwood was standing over her, staring down. He didn't move, didn't even look at me. Did he touch her, reach for her? No, just stood there. I nodded and moved to the door. Thank you, Mrs. Potts. I'll leave you to it. Inspector? I stop. She's still facing the fireplace. Judy's room? I'm sure by now you've found it. It's locked. She nods very sadly. I keep it locked. I keep it clean, but been through it so many times I don't know what I'm looking at anymore. She moves to the desk and pulls open the small drawer. She takes out a key and wipes it on the back of her apron. Inspector, you notice things, that's your job. Maybe there's something in there I've been walking past. I look at the key. Miss Potts, I've already told you. Just take it, Inspector, please. I force a smile and take the key. Go through it carefully. She picks up the stiff brush and goes back to the grate. Well, now we can finally go into Judy's room. Let's do that right now. Because that could lead us to figuring out what Talis is. And I don't really have any other leads anyway, so... Our Judy's room's upstairs again. And does, they should build 2 stairs in this house to go upstairs. Oi. No. Up. 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 There we go. Good boy. Alrighty. Let's have a look in what Judy's room is. Yellow. Alright. So she's got a bunny. Its ears are comically large. The mouth is stick-shaped at an angle, giving it a lopsided grin. I pick it up. There's something hard tucked inside the stuffing. I turn the toy over. A row of small wooden buttons runs down its spine. I undo them one by one. A small notebook is hidden inside. The cover is decorated with painted flowers. In the center, a white label, Judy. I open it. The entries are filled with different colored inks. I read through the pages. 20th of March, 1906. It was Father's birthday. I wore my best dress and went down for breakfast. I dropped my egg into the teapot by mistake. Went plop and splashed tea everywhere. Mother didn't laugh, not even a little. Aunt Arabella couldn't stop herself. I turned forward a few months. 18th of June, 1906. My stomach has been hurting for days. I can't hide it anymore. My clothes don't fit. My belly is growing and I'm afraid. Thought of telling Aunt Arabella, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. I turned to July. 9th of July, 1906. I said the wrong thing. Mother pulled me by the hair. Didn't have time to cover my face. Her hand hit me so hard, the scar on my cheek felt alive again. When I got to my room, I felt sick. I can't stay in this house. I heard in the kitchen with Cordelia this morning. They're talking about Arabella. Mother said if that whore keeps playing the grand lady, she'll put something in her food to see her off early. Cordelia just laughed. I flipped through the remaining pages. Sentences jump out from the entries. Cordelia said, a slap now and then does no harm. They both laughed. I've learned not to make a sound when it hurts. She hugged me once. I was more afraid than when she hits me. I reached the final entry. 13th of July, 1906. I'm leaving tomorrow for good. I won't see this room again. I won't see the gardens. I told Aunt Arabella everything. The pregnancy, the hitting, the nightmares. She's planning to get me away. She says no one will ever touch me again. I closed the diary and I put it back inside the bunny and placed it carefully between the pillows. The lady could have easily found that when she was doing her cleaning. It doesn't sound like she knew that her daughter was pregnant. A small pouch is touched at the back of the drawer. The string is knotted tight. Inside a handful of dried gingerbread, hard as bone looking like 7 fingers. It gives us no scent. It would be for morning sickness. Alright. A fruit to poison Arabella. Now, she'd put something in her food to be rid of her. Victoria. June 17, 1881. So now we just need to figure out what Tarlis was. Now, is there anyone here that might know? The 2 people that might know are Sebastian, who's in his room. We can see Sebastian. No, he doesn't want to talk to us. And perhaps, what's his face? We could talk to Percival as well. See if he knows. There's also the newspaper right here, but maybe he won't like us looking at the newspaper that we've already looked at previously. Get out of here, Percival. Who else? Vice is in there. Wonder if Samuel's still in the basement. Or has he gone up now? Oh, Patricia's in my bedroom. Why? Let's find out, shall we? Patricia, what are you doing in my bedroom? Patricia stands by the window looking at the rain. See her face in the reflection. I let myself in. I hope you don't mind, Inspector. Couldn't sit in my room anymore. Shut the door and step a few feet away from her. Mrs. Potts. Did you go in to her room? I did. She comes closer, her eyes touching mine. And? Did you find anything? The diary comes back to me. Judy's hair in Patricia's fist, her hair cheek burning red. Went through her fingers, Mrs. Potts. I didn't find anything harmful. Nothing? I gave you the key to her room, to everything she left behind, and you found nothing? There wasn't anything indicating where she went or with who she's with. Mouth tightens. Then you didn't look hard enough. You just like the others at the station. You look at a cook and a missing girl, and you decide we aren't worth the effort. The rain taps against the window. She steps closer. She's inches from me now. I smell the grease from the kitchen on her clothes. Must be a comfort, Inspector, being made of stone. To be so untouched by life you can just stand there and call this nothing? She pushes past my shoulder and stops at the door. I hope that you never have to learn what it feels like to lose the only thing that matters. I stand still as the door shuts. The rain gets louder outside. A bottle of whiskey sits in the nightstand. I walk over and sit heavy on the bed. I stare at the label for a moment, then I pour the glass. It burns. Good. I had forgotten that. The room shifts. I can see the tavern now. There was a man there, staring at you all evening, making sure I watched him stare. I remember thinking how easily I could put him down. No trouble, you said, so I stayed where I was. I paid, help you with your coat, watch out with you on my arm like a civilized man. We took the alley because it was quicker, and the footsteps behind us, that's all it took. The knife found my ribs before I heard him move. And then you, sinking down the wall as though sitting carefully to rest. I pressed my hand to your wound, told you to stay with me as if words had ever held the body together. The rest refuses to come back. I suspect that is a kindness. I drink until the glass is empty, then from the bottle. I kept my temper for you. And that was the last decent thing I ever did. Yeah, we should have probably done something about that. Probably not taken the alley. Very, oh my god, get up, man. The knocking is loud enough to make my head throb. I pull the door open, the light from the hallway is too bright. Inspector, at last. Been hammering on your door forever. You must come at once. Mr. Ravencroft is in a frenzy. He says he has been robbed. Ooh, that's not good. I'm following you, Horatio. You're going very slowly. Hurry it up, man. Oh, what's Mr. Ravencroft doing in here? Percival stands at the safe, pulling out ledgers and letters and dropping them on the floor. His hands move too quickly. Filthy, common thieves. What happened, Mr. Ravencroft? My wife's heirloom is gone. The Fabergé egg. Someone stole it. I move closer. Who knew the combination? He takes a step back, putting his hands on his hips and stares into the safe. Only my wife and I. When did you last see it? Yesterday morning. I opened the safe to take the estate ledgers. It was there. I crouch. I run my thumb across the edge of the dial and the lockpick. The metal is smooth. No fresh marks. No damage. I checked the floor around the safe, so there were no filings or wood splinters. Nothing was dragged. The maker's stamp is visible in the frame. I recognize it from a bank job near Holborn 3 years ago. The thieves haven't opened that one by force either. What exactly are you looking at, Inspector? Do you expect it to give you a name? I lean further in, looking behind the internal casing. The thick cable at the rear feeds into the wall socket. I follow the line with my eye. The socket looks old but unharmed. Mr. Ravencroft, I believe last night's breakout wasn't a coincidence. It was orchestrated precisely to steal it. He frowns. And how do you propose we find it, Inspector? Perhaps we should search the guests. Go through their luggage? Percival nods once. Yes, quite right. I want the house searched. Line them up. No. They both look at me. Horatio seems uncertain. Percival doesn't. If we start turning over rooms, the thief will know. They'll move the air, go higher and better. I look at both of them. Keep this quiet. Quiet? You want us to do nothing? I turn to him. Exactly. Let them think they are safe. Is that your method, Inspector? Stand still and hope the criminal gets bored. I prefer to call it patience, sir. I call it incompetence. You stood in my office earlier and spoke of proof and lists. Now my wife's legacy is hidden somewhere under my own roof, and you suggest we do nothing. Mr. Ravencroft, I'm here to find a murderer, not a thief. You think they are different people, Inspector? Enough! I don't care about your theories or list. Do you have any idea what a Fabergé is worth? Look at the mess of papers on the floor, then back at him. Apparently more than your wife. He goes still, just a rain tapping on the glass. Then he straightens his tie and looks at the doctor. Come, Horatio! He turns and walks towards the door. Horatio looks at me, his mouth opening as if to say something, but he thinks better of it. He follows Percival out, closing the door softly behind them. Well, can you get out of here, boys? I want to look at this safe. The safe is a Chubbin Sun, bolted through the floorboards. The door is still open the way Percival left it. I look at the floor inside. There is a rectangular patch near the back left corner. The fabric around the edges is darker and compressed. The egg sat there long enough to leave a mark. I stand and look at the papers Percival had scattered. Most are correspondence, quarterly figures, a vine merchant's bill, and a letter addressed to Arabella. I pick it up. The sender's name is Gordon O'Dea. The date says 7th August 1906. I put it in my pocket and leave the room. Well, that's interesting, because we've got this, and we've got this, right? Bang! Gordon claims he'd known Arabella for about a year. His letter to her, dated August 1906, shows they met only 4 months ago. Uh-huh. Well, what are you lying to me about, Gordon? Are you in your office right now, in your room, painting? You are. Hopefully we can get you to leave. I noticed that your door is open, probably because I left it open last time. Let me accuse you. Into the room. The window is open a few inches. Crust of snow has formed on the inner sill. Gordon stands by the shelf. His finger is hooked over the top of a book. Yesterday, you told me Miss Ravencroft visited your studio in Paris. A year ago. He turns to me. I did. Your point? I found a letter in her safe. You introduced yourself to her for the first time in August this year. He nods. It seems you have found a flaw in my testimony. Why did you lie? He leans his shoulder against the shelf. He doesn't speak. I just watch him. He crosses his arms and looks away from me. It was pride, Inspector. She never came to Paris. I wrote it to her because I had nowhere else to turn. If the world knew the famous O'Dea was begging for commissions to pay her his rent, my career would be over. It was an honest lie, Inspector. There's no such thing as an honest lie. Then how did you find her? What made you write to her specifically? I saw her name in the society column. It was a list of patrons. You chose her at random, then? In a sense, I sent other letters as well. How many others? He looks at the window. The heavy drapes shudder in the draught, kicking a few flakes of snow into the rug. Mr. O'Dea, how many? He snips the word out. 11. And? He moves towards the window. And none of them answered, not one, only Mrs. Ravencroft. He stares at the snow outside, his fingers hovering over the latch. 11 letters, 11 rejections. I was watching my savings evaporate. He slams the window shut. The latch clicks into place, cutting off the whistle of the storm. But still, I want to believe it was fate. Fate? He pulls the drape into his be. Imagine the prophets were not holding the last portrait of Mrs. Ravencroft. Some people would call that a motive, not fate. He tilts his head with a small shrug. She was my patron, Inspector. Dead patrons do not commission more work. I would prefer her alive. I check his shirt for any missing buttons. It doesn't have any. I put my notebook, flip through a few pages. Earlier you told me you were near the entrance before the sitting, watching everyone. Yet the only person you mentioned seeing was Mr. Blackwood. Correct, him and Miss Prescott. What about her? I saw her leave the room. She was heading towards the basement just moments before the blackout. You didn't mention anything about that. Didn't I? It was back to the shelf. A lapse in memory then. Travel fatigues the mind, Inspector. So does a murder. I nod slowly. You can get some rest, Mr. O'Dear. When would you forgetting anything else? Well, that is suspicious. We actually know this. If the power is out, we know that there was this, right, as well. So the power went out because of Victoria. She was the one that did it. Okay, never mind. Speak with Vivian. Vivian? Why were you going down to the basement? You do smoke as well. I don't trust you. And why aren't you in your room right now? You've got cancer. You shouldn't be moving around too much. Where is she? Where is she? Rachel. Not anywhere. I'm gonna guess she's in the basement. Let's go down, because I reckon if she's not on the map, she'll be there. That's generally my thoughts about this. Is there anyone in this Samuel's room while in there? Yes. I'm in Sebastian's room. Once we talk to Vivian, we'll end the episode there. But I'm very excited. Like, it's very interesting so far. The whole case is getting burst wide open, and like everyone seems to have something to hide, which I like. I like it better, like when there is always one person that has something to hide, rather than like, well, when everyone has something to hide, rather than just one person, and you're trying to figure out who that is. Everyone's actively lying to us, and it seems like they've got like a good reason for lying. She's not down here either. I don't much like that. Vivian? Vivian? Where are you? Here, puss, 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 puss. No, not that silly. Vivian. Vivian. Samuel's up in Arabella's office. Good talk to him right now. Percival's here. Tobias is there. No one's in the billiard room, from what I can see. Wait, move to 4-2. Victoria, Gordon, and Sebastian, Samuel. And Horatio is there. Oh, Vivian's up there. Oh, she's not in her room, but she's on floor 3. While I'm here, though, Samuel, tell me your secrets. What are you doing in the office? And can you tell me... Oh, you're not even here, even though it clearly says that you are. Well, Samuel, I'll leave you be for now. You're invisible so-and-so, but I'll come to get you later. By the way, I do not have a problem at all with any of that. It's a Solidev's first game, like, we're cutting some slack here. Is Vivian now back in her room? That'd be very annoying if she was. No, she's still here. I find Vivian at the end of the hallway, staring out at the rain. On the console table stands a silver-framed photograph of the estate. Her thumb slowly traces the edge of it. What is your relationship with Mr. O'Dear? She turns around. Excuse me? The artist, what is your connection to him? I barely know the man. Why are you asking me this? He claimed he saw you walking towards the basement stairs before the blackout, which is a lie. From where you are standing, the basement door is completely out of sight. So why is he trying to implicate you? She sets the photograph down. I have no idea. He is a peculiar man. He was lingering around me after dinner. Found it rather rude, frankly. As I told you before, I was in the ballroom when the lights went. I understand, yet he chose you specifically as his target. Perhaps he confused me with someone else. Patricia was moving back and forth from the dining room all evening. If someone is actually lurking by those stairs, she's the one who would have crossed paths with them. I nod once. I'll speak with her. She turns back to the window and picks up the frame again. Enjoy the rain, Miss Prescott. Alrighty. Well, before we talk to Patricia about all of that, let's end it here. Thanks so much for watching. If you've enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, or even subscribe if you're new. In the meantime, I'll hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. See ya!